And every Friday morning at this time, we're joined by 4th District Congressman Jim Himes of Greenwich. Good morning, Congressman. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Tony. Doing okay. Like everybody else, having a very weird life right now.
Yeah. What are things like at Shea Himes these days with the kids and everybody else?
Well, thank God the family's doing well. Both my daughters are here, and we're actually the opportunity to spend time together, which we haven't had a lot of over the years. Is wonderful, but obviously we're very conscious of what's happening outside. I'm not sure I knew what Zoom was 3 weeks ago, but I think probably I'm doing 9 or 10 hours a day of Zooms and WebExes, and of course, Tony, we're all just sort of stunned. As you know, we crossed 100 fatalities in the state of Connecticut to coronavirus just yesterday, and we crossed 6,000 in the country. So I think we're all coming to realize how horribly serious this thing is, and so yeah, my job has consisted of sort of 20-hour days of making sure my constituents know what's coming in terms of the resources that were in the bill that passed last Friday, and then working with the government to make sure that those resources actually do get out there. You know, it turns out to be, giving away money is harder than you think. It needs to go through channels that are not prepared for this kind of volume. So anyway, it's a busy time, but thank God the family is safe.
All right, good. And I'm sure the question everybody's asking you and asking everyone else is, when will this start coming in?
Well, the answer is that, in $2 trillion, there's a lot of different things. Some of it will be very quick. If you filed a 2019 tax return or a 2018 tax return and you put in direct deposit information and you make less than $75,000 a year, you're going to get a direct deposit into your bank account probably in the next 2 weeks or so. Unemployment insurance, for the first time in history, gig workers, that's the Uber drivers and folks that don't work for a traditional employer, will qualify. Independent contractors and freelancers will qualify. But that's sort of what I was referring to. The Department of Labor doesn't even really have the software that allows you to do this thing because it's a brand new idea. That's going to take a little longer. That could be out there, weeks, if not, month and a half. And, that's a really serious issue, obviously, because, the need, as we saw with almost 10 million unemployment claims filed, the need is not 6 weeks from now. The need is now. So there's a lot of people working hard on that particular piece of it.
And what about businesses? What's the timeline for their help?
Well, I think you've got these Paycheck Protection Program loans and a variety of other loans. I would tell you that those resources are somewhere between the two things I just described. Today is the day where businesses can begin to apply for those forgivable loans from the SBA. But I will tell you, having talked to probably 6 different banks, the banks aren't quite ready. So I think that those loans will start to go out in the next week or so. But again, we're going to see some congestion right up front. So there's a lot of help out there. People are working 24/7 to make sure it gets to who it should go to, but folks are also going to need to be a little bit patient because, we've never done anything of this magnitude in the history of the country, really.
And you've done regular updates with Greenwich officials, correct?
Yeah, I'm on the, every morning there is a emergency operations center call with Fred Camillo and all of the chiefs and leaders of our municipal departments, and I join those pretty much on a daily basis.
And are you doing this for each town in your district?
I try. It's just really valuable for me to hear what folks know on the ground in terms of, individual organizations that are having trouble. Quite often will know things about the hospital, that sort of thing. So yes, I am trying. And if nothing else, by the way, just to say thank you to the many first responders and healthcare professionals that join those calls. Some people don't get to work from home. Some people got to go out every single day to keep us safe. And of course, those are remarkably heroic people.
All right, the governor this week, kind of a very, very grim statement that the stockpile is done and we're on our own. Anything that you guys in Congress, the other members of the delegation, can do to help?
Yeah. In fact, Senator Blumenthal and Rosso DeLauro and I were on a let me put it this way, a rather volatile phone call with the director of FEMA just yesterday, and we are ringing the alarm bells. I mean, sadly, you just need to turn on the news to know that the federal government was caught off guard, and I don't like to be political in these times, but I'm thrilled the president finally grasped the magnitude and the severity of what's happening in the country. But it was kind of last week when that happened, and if we'd mobilized 5 or 6 weeks ago to really make sure that the manufacturers were making the masks and the ventilators and everything, we'd be in a lot better place. But so far our hospitals, Tony, have been getting by conserving their personal protective equipment and that sort of thing. But every single day the day starts and the hospitals are quite often, half a day or 1 day away from running out of things that they need. And I think that for the next 2 weeks, that's gonna be the reality, even though lots of us are going to be working our tails off to get every conceivable resource to those hospitals.
And I guess the hard part about it all is that everything has a lag effect here, the good things and the bad things. You mentioned the delay and maybe the social distancing, but it takes a while for it to take effect, right? We need to practice, what's the word, delayed gratification, right?
Well, that's exactly right, Tony. There is a delay, but you know what? Delayed gratification is not a human thing. When your elderly parents are in the hospital or something, and folks are dying, and I got frustrated to the point where every day I was watching the vice president, and I know Mike Pence. I served with Mike Pence for a long time. Offering up the fact that industry is going flat out to produce these masks and something. And you know what? Maybe that was true 2 weeks ago when he started saying it, but we still haven't seen them in bulk come into places like Stanford Hospital and Norwalk Hospital, which are really being overrun right now. So I had an interesting conversation with the vice president on that as well. But you're exactly right. Look, we're a resourceful people. We are going to get through this. There are going to be some pretty ugly stories. There already are, and there will be more. It's going to be a rough couple weeks, but we're going to work our tail off to do the best that we can, and keep our fingers crossed that more of our people are safe than not.
All right, we take it day by day. Thanks very much, Congressman Himes, for your time. Stay safe. We'll talk next Friday.
All right, thank you, Tony.